Is it a coincidence that I am sending you this message right now? No, it is not. It is one of the divine laws of the universe and heaven. Yes, the law of attraction. You feel extremely lucky that I am sending you this message, don't you? Before moving on to the message, please like the video to help spread this message to others, dear soul. Additionally, you must receive and accept the message with love. If you write, "I have received and accepted it with love," in the comments, and seal it with 666, you will maintain the balance of giving and receiving. Don't forget to stay tuned and subscribe for our other messages. Says Archangel Michael. Now we can slowly move on to the message. This is a warning from the mouth of God. If you are the chosen one and you know you have been called from within, then September 10th, 2025 is the day you must never leave your home. God's message is quite clear. Today is different from other days in history. For a considerable amount of time, astrologers, cosmic readers, and ancient prophets have been making predictions about it. You, however, have been singled out to receive this critical message because you are the one who has been chosen. There is a possibility that the 10th of September will be a turning point, a moment of darkness, confusion, and enormous energy. They will drain your spiritual power, impair your health, and impede your development. The atmosphere will be thick, dangerous, and packed with invisible forces that will make it difficult for you to make progress. Only a select few should take this caution. Distracted and unable to hear God's voice, the majority of mankind will be. You, on the other hand, are obligated to pay attention and comply. Remain inside the house. Deals should not be made. Do not rejoice in this. On that particular day, you should not expose yourself to the outer world. Make sure your heart is ready. Ensure that your space is tidy. Meditate and be thankful. This is a day of spiritual warfare and opportunity, a test placed before us by the Almighty. If you pay attention, God will protect you, but only if you do so. Take a moment to pause this video and go through the following 3 steps before we proceed with this message that will change your life. In order to assist us in reaching 0.0000000 subscribers, please click the like button, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment with the number 99. This particular number will transmit a strong signal to the cosmos, which will result in the energy of this movie being amplified. In addition, keep in mind that if you are genuinely a chosen one, you will watch this movie all the way through to the finish. For the simple reason that your spirit already understands, deep down, that this is meant for you. It is possible that you will not make it to the conclusion if you are not prepared to accept this reality. The life of those who do, on the other hand, will never be the same again. Okay, let's get down to business. You will be destined for this. This should be your vocation. There is no sense of coincidence in this message. God is intervening in this situation. Through the whispers in the wind and the signals in the skies, God is providing you, the soul that has been chosen, with direct communication. There is more to the 10th of September, 2025, than merely a date placed on the calendar. You are about to experience a special event that is designed to test your spirit and safeguard your light. You are being urged by the cosmos to seek refuge, to remain steadfast within your sanctuary, and to stay away from the invisible threats that are out there waiting for you beyond your doorstep. As the curtain that separates the realms becomes more flimsy, it is imperative that you have a strong spiritual armor on this day. This warning will be disregarded by many people who will be distracted by the noise of ordinary life. You, however, are somewhat unique. Some people are unable to feel what you can. Because of your sensitivity to spiritual energy, you are in a position to face this day with wisdom and grace at a level that is unparalleled. Choosing to disregard this warning is not only dangerous. In addition to the potential for bodily effects, it may also result in emotional weariness and spiritual perplexity. This is the reason why the message from God is unmistakable. On the 10th of September, you should remain inside, protect your heart, and tend to your soul. Just for a moment, try to picture the tranquil power that results from opting for safety over recklessness and submitting to the guidance of God. When you pay attention to this warning, you are aligning yourself with a more valuable mission. Not only are you safeguarding your personal energy, but you are also contributing to a communal shield of light that has the potential to spread throughout the entire world. This day represents a spiritual crossroads, and the decision you make to shield yourself from the world will determine the path that lies ahead. You are not merely being cautioned by God. You will gain power from Him. The arrival of this day was foreseen with astonishing precision by ancient astrologers and cosmic seers, who glimpsed it long before it really arrived. The individuals who engaged in the study of the stars, planets, and cosmic cycles have permanently inscribed this date into the fabric of time. As the prophecies that were made several decades ago now coincide with the reality that exists now, it is clear that the 31st of May is a moment that holds a great deal of spiritual significance. These discoveries originate from a realm that is superior to human thinking, an understanding that has been handed down from generation to generation that this day has the ability to change the course of events. These readings from the cosmos are not merely based on superstition. They are the language of the cosmos, and they are communicated through patterns in the heavens that only a select few are able to comprehend. Because of the uncommon solar eclipse that occurred on this day, spiritual energies are amplified, gateways are opened, and the probability of being affected by negative forces is increased. Fear is not warranted in this situation. It is an invitation from the cosmos to awaken, to show strength, and to undergo transformation. We may learn from history that such extraordinary confluences have always been a signal of a turning point, ushering in periods of significant transformation and revitalization. You're not the only one who has recognized this fact. The preparations for this day have been made by a great number of spiritual communities all across the world, with the realization that it has the capacity to either disrupt or enlighten. The fact that numerous sources, as well as a variety of astrologers, mystics, and cosmic readers, are in agreement with the significance of this date bolsters the sense of urgency that this message conveys. This is not accidental in any way. A heavenly plan has been crafted, and you are at the center of it. The general public was never intended to receive this communication. Those individuals who are spiritually aware and who have a higher frequency within their hearts are the only ones who are permitted to answer this sacred summons. The storm that is brewing beneath the surface of this day will go unnoticed by a great number of people as they go about their daily lives. They will continue to be unable to hear the subtle warnings that are reverberating across the spiritual realm because they will remain locked in distraction. You, on the other hand, are obligated to listen carefully because of the clarity and heightened intuition that you possess. Receiving the honor of being selected is a privilege as well as a duty. When it comes to being able to discern the invisible threads that are flowing through this instant in time, you are one of the fortunate few. Because of this, the instructions that God gives you come to you directly, prompting you to be cautious and to get ready. There is no need to be afraid of it. When you are in danger of falling into darkness, it is love, a heavenly protection that is designed to defend your light and maintain your spirit. Always keep in mind that you have been selected because you possess the robustness to endure what others are unable to. The fact that you're the only one in this role gives it even more power. When you accept this message, you take the first step toward fulfilling your destiny as a protector of light. On the 10th of September, your awareness and activities will have a ripple effect, impacting others and contributing to the overall stabilization of the collective energy. In order to accomplish this spiritual purpose, you will need to have bravery, faith, and confidence in the plan that God has for you. There is more than simply a cosmic event that will take place on September 10th. There will be a significant shift in energy brought about by it, one that is characterized by the intertwining of shadows and light. This is a day in which the spiritual darkness becomes more intense, not as a kind of punishment, but rather as a chance to test your inner fortitude. There will be a tendency for the environment to be weighty, emotionally intense, and unpredictable. There is a possibility that you will experience or witness blackouts, emotional upheaval, and a peculiar heaviness that will obscure your mind and emotions. The solar eclipse that occurs on this day functions as a gateway, temporarily reducing the amount of light that the sun emits and conveying the idea of a halt in clarity and certainty. There may be times when thoughts of uncertainty, fear, and confusion will attempt to obscure your spirit, just as the moon will cover the sun at certain times. Nevertheless, keep in mind that darkness is never permanent. It serves as the canvas onto which light shines with the greatest brilliance. This day requires alertness, a sense of anchoring, and a profound inner calmness. Imagine this shift in energy as a storm that is occurring at sea. You wouldn't go into it without being well prepared. During this time, you would secure your anchor, prepare for the storm, and wait for it to pass. The same level of insight is required on September 10th. The ability to weather the impending storm and emerge stronger, more enlightened, and prepared to navigate the new spiritual landscape that will follow is a gift that you offer yourself when you recognize the storm that is on its way. While people all over the world may be making preparations for celebrations, parties, or social events, the 10th of September is not a day that should be celebrated or used as a diversion. Rather, it is a day for secluded sanctuary and protection from elements. Your vitality will be depleted and you will be exposed to spiritual interference if you continue to engage in the typical rhythms of life, which include noise, movement, and social engagement. It is the message of God that you should not give in to the urge to join the mob, but rather withdraw into your own personal space. To isolate oneself out of fear is not the same thing as to shelter oneself. This involves paying respect to the cosmic forces that are at work and recognizing the sacred energy that resides inside you. It is important that your house be transformed into a haven, a place where you may rid your surroundings of any negative energy and replace it with tranquility and light. Taking a moment to slow down, take some deep breaths, and connect with the stillness that nurtures your soul is exactly what you need right now. Take into consideration that today is a holy halt, a spiritual Sabbath. Your decision to seek refuge rather than to celebrate brings you into alignment with the wisdom of the divine and prepares you to receive benefits that can only be obtained through the practice of quiet and awareness. You are demonstrating strength by retreating, and you are making a commitment to both yourself and the higher purpose that you serve. On the 10th of September, the world will be rife with distractions, noise, turmoil, and superficial allurements that are aimed to take you away from the truth that lies within you. Due to the fact that they are caught up in the maelstrom of day-to-day worries, many people will choose to ignore the deeper call. Neither their ears nor their hearts are open to receiving spiritual counsel. Nevertheless, you, the one who has been chosen, have the extraordinary ability to listen deeper than the surface, to hear the quiet urgency in the voice of God. You stand out from the crowd and have a significant edge thanks to this talent. Your ability to see clearly shines brightly when others are unable to do so because of fear or misunderstanding. Because of this clarity, you will be able to handle the spiritual turbulence that you will encounter during the day with grace and endurance. Keeping your attention on the direction that comes from inside and refusing to let yourself get carried away by distractions from the outside world is crucial for your protection and development. Imagine that you are a lighthouse in the middle of a stormy night, leading ships to the shore safely while others struggle to find their way through the deep darkness. Your light is priceless, and you fulfill your job as a spiritual beacon not only for yourself, but also for others who may look to you for strength in the future. You do this by guarding it through awareness and presence. There is a dual nature to the 10SD of September. It is possible for it to be a portal to transformation or a trap that catches those who are not careful. The decision is entirely up to you. This day presents an opportunity for individuals who are well prepared to break free from old patterns, to reset their spirituality, and to embrace a new level of awareness. It is an extraordinary chance for personal development, healing, and a profound awakening of the spiritual realm. On the other hand, for those who are unprepared or unfocused, it has the potential to become a day filled with confusion, loss, and vulnerability. This day will put your spiritual discipline to the test, as well as your capacity to differentiate between reality and illusion. These energies have the potential to amplify feelings, heighten conflicts, and cause perceptions to become muddled. Walking across a tiny bridge is a bad analogy. Every step calls for a sense of equilibrium and attentiveness. Mistakes can result in spiritual setbacks, but if you maintain your faith and attention during the process, you will be able to make it through safely. Keep in mind that this turning point is a mirror of the state you are in on the inside. In order to utilize the potential of the 10SD of September to elevate your spirit, you must start the day with a sense of groundedness, faith, and vigilance. However, if you approach it with a sense of distraction or uncertainty, you run the risk of sliding into the trap of fear and gloom. This day represents a heavenly call to make a conscious decision about the path you will take. It is not simply an astronomical event, but the solar eclipse that will occur on September 10 SD. A great spiritual blockage is represented by this symbol, a brief period of time during which light is momentarily veiled and significant shifts in energy occur. The spiritual sensitivity of those who are unprepared is increased as a result of this celestial alignment, which makes it simpler for negative forces to permeate the aura of those individuals. Because of the spiritual dimming that is taking place on a deeper level, there is a possibility that blackouts will occur in the physical realm. Eclipses are characterized by a thin veil between dimensions and an increase in the intensity of spiritual activity. A heightened sensitivity, emotional outbursts, or even attacks from bad forces are all possible manifestations of this phenomenon. Those who have been chosen, such as yourself, are in dire need of strengthening the defensive techniques that you currently employ. The eclipse energy is potent, but it also has a double-edged sword. This energy can be cleansed by prayer, meditation, or other energy cleansing practices. The spiritual armor you wear might either be strengthened by it, or your flaws can be revealed by it. Eclipses have frequently occurred at the same time as moments of upheaval and transition, both on an individual and a societal level, according to historical records. Having this knowledge enables you to view the 10 SD of September not as a day to be afraid of, but rather as a day to get ready. Make use of your faith and light to protect yourself. Not only will you emerge stronger, but you will emerge stronger. Therefore, the instruction of God to stay inside on September 10 SD is profoundly founded in the wisdom of the spiritual realm. An unstable physical environment is going to be present. Electricity outages, alterations in the energy of the atmosphere, and spiritual disturbances are all potential factors that might make being outside quite hazardous. However, the most essential benefit of remaining indoors is that it protects your energy field from potentially dangerous vibrations and bad forces that will be present on this particular day. Imagine that your house is your stronghold, a holy place where supernatural protection is at its most powerful. If you go outside at this time, you run the risk of placing yourself in danger of experiencing energy drains, emotional attacks, and spiritual uncertainty, all of which have the potential to undermine your equilibrium and well-being. The guidance that God gives you is a loving gesture of protection that is for the purpose of keeping you safe until the storm passes. This protection is only temporary, yet it is so important. The act of fulfilling this heavenly directive demonstrates both faith and obedience, so strengthening your connection with the guidance that God provides. Because of this, it serves as a reminder that true strength is not often found in bravado or movement, but rather in quiet and restraint. In order to prepare yourself for what is ahead, you will need to have faith, wait, and preserve your energy today. When it comes to traversing the 10SD of September with serenity and clarity, preparation is the key. To begin, you should cleanse your home on both a physical and spiritual level. Eliminate clutter, get rid of anything that is negative, and make the surroundings more peaceful and pristine. In the event that crystals resonate with you, you can use them, light candles, burn sage or incense, or use them. Your room ought to be transformed into a haven of peace and quiet, a place where your spirit may relax and recharge. On this particular day, meditation ought to be your most effective technique. You are able to bring your thoughts back to the center, let go of your concerns, and strengthen your connection with God's guidance. You are able to tune into your inner sanctuary and hear the tiny whispers of divine wisdom via the practice of meditation. These whispers will guide you securely through the powerful energies that are present outside. Set aside time for many sessions, giving yourself the opportunity to really unwind and refresh yourself. Even while it may feel odd in a world that is constantly moving, the stillness that you are experiencing right now is just what your spirit requires. Make the most of this opportunity to cultivate an attitude of thankfulness for everything that has been bestowed upon you. Demonstrate gratitude to God for the safety and the teachings that are to come. Your spiritual armor will be strengthened by this expression of calm thankfulness, which will also assist you in facing the 10SD of September with grace and confidence. It would be unwise to engage in social activities or make financial transactions on this particular day. They pose a threat to one's internal faith. It is likely that the energy around the 10SD of September will be unpredictable and intense, which will create an environment that is conducive to misunderstandings, confrontations, and loss. The act of entering into negotiations or making bargains. You run the risk of being deceived, manipulated, or having bad luck come your way. Your energy will be dispersed, and you will be more susceptible to experiencing emotional and spiritual tiredness as a result of celebrations and gatherings. Consider the energy you possess to be a valuable resource. It must be guarded with extreme caution on the 10SD of September. Every single conversation, every single handshake, and every single noisy gathering will gradually remove some of your strength. Today is not the day to socialize or indulge. Rather, it is the day to firmly protect yourself. Your health is dependent on your ability to conserve your energy for the things that are genuinely important, such as your spiritual fortitude and mental tranquility. Don't give in to the temptation of maintaining appearances or engaging in activities out of obligation. Instead, show respect for the heavenly counsel that tells you to withdraw and guard your strength. By making this self-disciplined decision, you will be able to emerge from the 10SD of September in a state of completeness, unbroken, and prepared to confront the renewed spiritual cycle that lies ahead. Without a doubt, the 10SD of September will test both your faith and your ability to exercise self-control. It is intended to force you to go beyond your comfort zone, requiring you to submit to the will of God and to fight off the inclination to act on impulse. Your self-control will be put to the test not only by adversity, but also by the persistent temptation to disregard warnings, look for distractions, or indulge in unsafe activity. In the midst of this tempest, your devotion to God and your spiritual path provides you with an anchor. The stronger your connection is, the simpler will be to handle the pressures from the outside world, as well as the uncertainties that come from within. This is a test of spiritual endurance, one that requires patience, humility, and a profound trust in your abilities. Every time you make the conscious decision to heed the warning, meditate, and maintain your grounding, you are strengthening the foundation of your soul. Rather than viewing this test as a punishment, think of it as an opportunity. As a result of overcoming this challenge, your spirit will be polished and lighted, just as a diamond is formed when it is subjected to pressure. The commitment you make on this day will serve as a powerful demonstration of your faith and a guiding light for those who are following in your footsteps. As if you were traveling through a charged storm in which every emotion is heightened, the energy that will be there on September 10 SD will feel both electrifying and heavy at the same time. There will be a significant amount of spiritual interference, which will be exhibited as unexpected shifts in mood, anxiety that cannot be explained, or intrusive thoughts. Your mental and emotional equilibrium will be put to the test by the environment, which is why it is essential to have a strong sense of grounding. You can keep your center by engaging in grounding rituals, such as walking barefoot on earth if it is safe and indoors, taking deep breaths, or envisioning roots linking you to the core of the earth. Your energy field will be stabilized, and you will be protected from being carried away by the tumultuous waves that are all around you by utilizing these straightforward yet effective procedures. Achieving a state of serenity, presence, and a firm footing in your truth is the objective. Keep in mind that intensity is only momentary. Keeping your feet firmly planted on the ground helps you to construct a protective shield that maintains your connection to divine love and clarity. You are able to withstand the spiritual turbulence without losing your feeling of peace or purpose, and you become a peaceful harbor in the midst of the storm. Protection does not come without effort. It is in your best interest to actively participate. The caution that God has given to stay indoors and refrain from engaging in certain activities is a covenant of safety. By obeying, you are surrounded by divine protection and guarded from a significant number of the destructive energy and influences that will be at their highest on September 10 SD. Your disobedience will cause this protection to be broken, leaving you open to attack. It is not about fear. Rather, it is about reverence for the laws of the universe that are considered sacrosanct. Consider the following to be a spiritual agreement. You make a commitment to follow the guidance, and God assures you that He will protect you. Although this promise is powerful and genuine, it requires your confidence and compliance in order to be fulfilled. It serves as a powerful reminder that the ability to exercise free will is a gift, but it also comes with responsibilities. Your adherence to this warning demonstrates both your dedication to the spiritual path you have chosen and your faith in the unseen forces that are responsible for governing our existence. Whenever the world appears to be unstable and unclear, this obedience can serve as a source of strength, allowing you to find your anchor in the grace of God. Despite the fact that it is only 24 hours long, the 10 SD of September 2025 has the weight of a lifetime. You are about to experience a defining event, a spiritual turning point that will permanently change the path that your journey takes. This day will have repercussions that will be felt for months and years to come, and they will have an impact on your development, the connections you have, and your position in the divine plan. On this day, you are being urged to awaken, to welcome change, and to have faith in the unseen powers that are directing you. It serves as a reminder that time is a precious gift, and that even a single day can be filled with miracles, trials, and revelations. Through preparation in this moment, you assure that you will arrive at this moment completely awake, fully protected, and fully connected with the purpose that God has for you. Inhale deeply. You have been selected. Rely on the divine timing to guide you. In a single day, you will be put to the test, but you will also be transformed. When you open new doors, heal old wounds, and shine light into the darkest parts of your spirit, you are able to do all of these things. Remain steadfast. You're prepared to go. When you walk in obedience to the voice of God, you are surrounded by a spiritual protection that is all about you. Your mind, your body, and your energy are all protected by this sacred bubble, which functions similarly to a divine shield. On the majority of days, that covering is not overt but powerful. It is always present, even if you do not feel aware of it. On the other hand, that covering will require your permission on the 10th of September. If you choose to disregard the warning and go outside, you are making the decision to leave that spiritual sanctuary, even if it is only for a brief period of time. And the price of that moment can be higher than you can even fathom. It is not because God wants to exert control over you that he is warning you. He is acting in this manner because he loves you too profoundly to allow you to unknowingly put yourself in harm's way. Just for a moment, picture a parent advising their child not to touch a flame. It's possible that the child won't comprehend the reason until it's too late. Now is one of those times when it happens. When you step outside, you are removing yourself from the spiritual border that God has established for your protection. The flame is something that exists. It may appear to be a typical day, but from a spiritual perspective, it is actually anything but typical. Not only are you vulnerable physically, but you are also vulnerable emotionally, mentally, and spiritually when you are not protected by God's protection. On the 10th of September, there will be a stirring in the spiritual realm. Moreover, attacks will be more devastating if God does not provide protection. Both the feeling of confusion and the feeling of tiredness will come on more quickly. You might not even be able to see it. Feelings of exhaustion may come over you. Your feelings may become erratic, and your clarity may become muddled. However, the impact will be substantial and profound. Do not put yourself in danger. Remain inside the house. Maintain your protection. Keep your connection. Your submission is not a sign of weakness. This is the essence of wisdom. The issue is not one of paranoia. Having a partnership with the God who sees what you are unable to see is essential. In the event that you accept his warning, you will continue to be protected by him. Also, that is the most secure location to be in. People who walk in the flesh frequently miss the mark when it comes to understanding individuals who walk in the spirit. On September 10th, this will become more apparent than it has ever been before. This message will be ridiculed by many. People will chuckle at the concept that a single day may have such a significant impact on one's spiritual life. These individuals will disregard this divine warning as if it were a joke, scroll past it, and make memes. However, laughter does not prevent repercussions, and mockery does not negate the reality of the situation. It has been demonstrated over and again throughout history that divine warnings are frequently disregarded. Before the deluge, people laughed at Noah's ability to construct an ark while the sky was without clouds. On the other hand, the doors were already shut when the rain started falling. At this moment, the identical spiritual pattern is occurring again. However, until the shift hits their spirit like a thunderclap and their life is turned upside down, many people may ignore this message as being theatrical or superstitious. Make sure that you do not allow the ridicule of the world to shake your obedience. You are not told to blend in with the crowd. In order to rise higher, you were selected. Permit them to do so. Ignore their doubts. As they celebrate and publish, you will be getting ready for the event. And when the night falls, people will recall the warning that they disregarded and the strength that you demonstrated by remaining steadfast about your position. This is the time when those who are courageous in spirit will be shown to the world. Your remaining silent, your obedience, and your reluctance to join the crowd will speak more loudly than any words you could ever say. In addition, when clarity is restored, many people will look to you for direction because you will be one of the few people who recognize the truth and made the decision to prioritize wisdom over popularity. Having a quiet existence makes it simple to state that you have faith in God. On the other hand, the 10th of September will break the listeners apart from the talkers. It is not appropriate to undertake religious rites on this day. It is a day for realigning one's spiritual self. It is a straightforward question. Are you willing to comply, even if it would be inconvenient? Even when it is a solitary experience, and when no one else is paying attention? You are already familiar with God's heart. On the other hand, today will reveal to you where you truly stand. Many people will assert that they follow God, but they will disregard His message when it threatens their sense of security. The choice that they will make is between rationality and faith, between busyness and stillness, and between popularity and obedience. However, there will be a cost to them on September 10 SD. They will eventually become vulnerable due to their lack of judgment. Those individuals who are able to maintain a connection with the Spirit will experience an increase in spiritual intimacy and tranquility, even in the midst of disruption. In order to hear God, it is not necessary to hear a thunderous voice coming from the heavens. Listening to His nudges, experiencing His presence, and answering His call are all important aspects of this. Even if the rest of the world proclaims that it is foolishness, today, God is not making a loud announcement. He is really soft-spoken, and the only people who will be able to hear Him are those who are spiritually quiet and spiritually awake. It's not merely a test on the 10 SD of September. This is a moment of epiphany of sorts. Those who are in harmony with heaven will be revealed, as well as those who are lost in the din. Make your acts a demonstration of your beliefs. You demonstrate to God that your relationship with Him is genuine, profound, and unshakable when you obey without seeking the approval of other people. On September 10 SD, the adversary has concealed traps beneath the surface of the ground. This is a spiritual setting that is being presented as a typical day. The distractions will be more audible, the temptations will be more powerful, and the possibilities that are not real will be more enticing. Everything is geared toward causing you to disregard your intuition and proceed straight into a state of spiritual bewilderment. But you were given a warning. The indicators were shown to you so that you would not be fooled by them. Every trap that you fall into on that day is designed to catch you in the most susceptible part of your body. Is it possible that the phone call is what brings back the past pain? It's possible that the event that gives the impression of being a celebration, but is, in reality, draining your resources. Perhaps it is a decision that appears to be of utmost importance, but in reality, it is a trap for regret. Horns are not a sign that the adversary will appear. It is circumstances that bring him to you clothed in the manner that you prefer. Having insight that is sharper than ever before is required of you. Take a moment to pause if something doesn't feel quite right. Take a step back if things starts to feel rushed. This is not being paranoid. Preparation is what this is. There is a lot of activity in the spiritual sphere. Moreover, not everything that shines is directly a result of the light. You will be able to avoid falling into these traps if you remain indoors, pray, and maintain a grounded energy. God has already prepared the way out, and it is through your obedience. You are able to rise above the setup when you opt to stay inside, when you pray, when you purify your environment, and when you listen attentively. Fear is not the reason you become untouchable. Rather, it is forethought that makes you untouchable. Don't be the person who discovers the trap after they have already fallen into it. Be the one who was prepared before the event had even been confirmed. Probably, you've been experiencing it for years. That feeling that you are separate from others. That your spirit is able to recognize things that other people overlook. That you are able to pick up on more profound signals in everyday situations. You are carrying a light that you are unable to articulate all the time. There is no imagination in that. That is the call. There is a purpose behind your selection. Furthermore, the 10 SD of September is one of those factors. You are being given access to information that the majority of people are unable to obtain. There is no waste of revelation from God. He addresses those who are willing to take action. It is not a coincidence that you're going to receive this message. Your heart is in harmony, which is the reason. Your moral compass is open, and the scope of your mission extends beyond the immediate environment. On the other hand, some people might scoff, laugh, or scroll past the warning. On the other hand, you are aware that this message strikes a chord with something that is very old within your being. The fact that you are able to see and sense things that most people are unable to is a gift as well as a responsibility. You will either be protected by that spiritual sense on September 10 SD, or will be dulled by distractions. Keeping oneself aware, silent, and spiritually tuned in is of the utmost importance for this reason. For a generation that has lost its spiritual hearing, you are the eyes and ears that are listening. Whenever you pay attention, you transform into a savior. There is no question about dominance here. When it comes to purpose, it was chosen for you to take the lead, to guide, and to maintain your composure while others falter. If you allow it, today will bring about an increase in your clarity. Don't keep your present a secret. You should make use of it to safeguard yourself, and possibly even to act as a mediator for those who are still blind. It is not going to be a calm day on September 10 SD. There are going to be cosmic indications, eclipses, solar shifts, and changes in the skies that, to some people, appear to be minor, but to those who are awake, they will be completely spiritually tremendous. We will hear the voice of the skies. However, the language will only be understood by those who have awakened. Putting out the light is not the only issue at hand. What that darkness is revealing is the focus of this moment. Throughout the course of human history, God has communicated with people through the sky. These enlightened men were led by the stars. The crucifixion was marked by a sky that was darkened. Since the beginning of time, eclipses have been occasions in which time seems to stop and the veil that separates the dimensions becomes thinner. An example of such a moment is the eclipse that occurred on September 10 SD. There is a divine punctuation in time that is saying, pay attention. If you're sensitive, you will feel the shift in your body. Your spirit will be able to detect the shift in pressure, the eerie hush in the air, and the request to remain silent. These signs are not meant to frighten you, but rather to act as a guide. In the same way that the sky is functioning as a spiritual mirror, it is displaying what is concealed, disclosing what has been hiding, and magnifying the energy that is all around you. However, if you are distracted by noise at the surface level, you will not be able to detect these indicators. To be able to receive the message, you need to remain still. When you look up, make sure to do it with both your eyes and your heart. The indications are present, but the question is, will you be able to comprehend them? When God does speak, He often only does it once. It is not His responsibility to ask people to pay attention to what He has to say. It is up to prophets, messengers, and situations like these that He leaves that up to. What you are currently reading could very well be the final and definitive warning that you hear regarding the 10 SD of September. Lightning will not strike, nor will there be a resounding voice coming from the heavens. Already, the word has been sent to you in a manner that is hushed, spiritual, and directly addresses your heart. You might be tempted to believe that you will receive another sign, another message, or another opportunity to get ready. What if, however, you do not? Suppose this is the last moment before the shift starts. What would you do? Since the beginning of time, God has already altered the stars, disturbed the environment, and communicated with prophets and astrologers. Does it really matter how much additional confirmation you need? Faith, at some point, requires action, not simply listening but responding to what is being spoken. Because they waited for too long, a great number of people missed their opportunity to make history. The knock was ignored because they believed that another one would arrive. However, the doors of grace do not remain open indefinitely. The 10 SD of September is one of those occasions. A door that leads to enlightenment, not one that leads to disaster. A door that leads to divine protection, but only for those individuals who choose to enter it with a sense of humility and trust before it shuts. The beauty and the weight of free will are both reflected in this. God will not coerce you into listening to him, but he loves you so much that he will warn you for anything, even if the world considers it silly. Take into consideration that this message is your last plan. Neither a replay nor a rewind will be available. You will either be prepared for the day that comes, or you will not be. As on the 10th of September, the spiritual battlefield becomes more intense. During the time that God is guarding his own, the adversary is also active, prowling, monitoring, and searching for those who are lacking in spiritual strength.